Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a wonderful day so far. Today, this is just going to be a very short and sweet update. We're going to be covering Cardano and a number of things associated with it. Talking a little bit about what's around the corner in regards to DeFi. We're going to be mentioning the total value locked within the DeFi ecosystem, as you can see behind me, because this continues to grow day in, day out. Just like the majority of on-chain metrics for Cardano. The price just does not reflect that. And today was a perfect example of the fact that price is often very disassociated with the underlying asset that it's trying to represent. But value does get realized eventually. And you know, like I say, price is often a very unfair and often uncorrelated metric to weigh up true value, if you will. So we're going to talk about that because today has been an extremely volatile day. And that was really off the back end of the CPI coming out for the United States. The CPI is what they use to monitor inflation. I had made previous calls that I believe this was going to be higher than the previous month. The previous month was 7%. I thought maybe 7.2, 7.3, but this was actually higher than even my expectations and many, certainly even higher than Wall Street's expectations. Came out at 7.5. So this shows that inflation is running very, very hot, and there was a substantial jump from last month. So, you know, inflation is a real issue, and the big problem, or one of the big problems that not just the crypto space but markets as a whole have been facing, is what do the Federal Reserve do to combat inflation? Typically, markets will take a hit if interest rates get risen, and so on and so forth. So that's why you've seen a lot of uncertainty within the crypto space. I actually thought, as previously, you know, you can see this is really where the last CPI data kind of came in, and you saw the dollar spill to the downside on the back end of this. I thought that this CPI update, given that it showed inflation was even higher, which suggests that the dollar in terms of value is getting devalued at a faster rate, which should ultimately lead to dollar weakness. I thought we were going to see a spill sort of immediately on the data, but we actually saw the opposite somehow, and this is just a complete representation of what I'm talking to you guys about in regards to price often not representing true value. The dollar saw an absolute spike and saw its value go up in wake of it having a high inflationary, inflation. So that obviously saw, and this is another perfect example, that crypto is still extremely tethered to the financial system. Bitcoin spilled to the downside. So the dollar went up and Bitcoin went down. This, of course, dragged your altcoins like Cardano with it, but it hasn't really moved it. Now, this is important because we've not really moved at all. So even though we had this big spill in volatility, we've still held, certainly on the daily, the 20 EMA, and a number of key levels of support. So you can see the spiller here for Cardano, but it didn't really do anything on the back end of that. It kind of just bounced straight back up, which shows a lot of strength in the market, in my opinion. Bitcoin did the exact same thing. You can see just what a spiller this was. I mean, this candle alone is 5%, and this was all on the back end of inflation being high. So if that isn't a perfect example that markets don't often represent value, certainly not immediately, over time things will find, it's kind of like water, they find their level. But there's a lot of speculation involved with markets. And I ultimately think that the dollar is still going to spill to the downside, and that crypto is going to still continue in the right direction. A lot of uncertainty. We looked at the fact that there was a lot of stable coins actually sat on exchanges, not really doing a lot earlier in our earlier video. And I think this is capital that's just sat on the sidelines waiting to assert itself. So in regards to Cardano, we're seeing the likes of value locked within DeFi continue to grow. This is all before we've really had our DeFi boom. The DeFi space in Cardano is not even really got started yet. This is a article from Input Output. DeFi demystified. With the Cardano ecosystem set to grow exponentially in 2022, now is the time to get to grips with some of the prime principles and jargon behind DeFi. Now, I do owe you guys a Sunday Swap full tutorial. I am working on this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take a little bit of editing, and I will be releasing it. So I'll be showing you from start to finish how to do everything, including liquidity providing, on Sunday Swap. And you can see that the farming APRs are already coming down as more people are sort of taking advantage of these. But I will be doing that video, will be getting released soon. I've just got to edit it, as it's taken a little bit of time from one step to another, of course, because I've got to wait for the blockchain, which is significantly faster than when it started. You know, we've seen these kind of parameter updates. So this video, like I say, was really just a short and sweet one to talk about markets in general. we're still heading in the right direction, guys. You know, we're at a very critical level for Cardano, given where it is today in relation to where we've been previously. And ultimately, there's lots of things that suggest to me that this is potentially could be your low. Now, that ultimately depends on a number of things. Today's been a really perfect example of that. But I don't understand how anybody can be anything but bullish on ADA. It's got a very bright future, and DeFi is just really one part of that. But it's a part of it that's you know, within reach. You know, lots of things are happening on the DeFi side of things. We're seeing lots of value get locked up, and this is all a real driver for Cardano, as we're seeing, you know, ADA get locked into many of these protocols. We've got 135 million Cardano locked within these protocols. So that's really all I have for you in this one, guys. Just a quick statement on the markets, quick comment on Cardano and how I think we're doing just fine. I don't think people have anything to worry about. It was just a short and sweet one because I've got lots going on. I will catch you all in the next YouTube video, ladies and gentlemen. What input output are talking about here in regards to DeFi is applicable to you guys watching. Certainly you guys that aren't familiar with DeFi, get familiar, because there's going to be opportunities everywhere within the DeFi space. And we've seen that with the likes of LQ token. We've seen that with the likes of Sunday, World Mobile. Milk is a big one. Lots of people had kind of underestimated Milk and actually doubted it, but it's actually done very well and has offered 10x returns, I think, in January alone. These opportunities are going to be repeated, and it's up to you guys whether you take them or not. And one way that you're going to know whether to take or not to take something is by educating yourself around it. And that's something that people really need to take advantage of. So I'm going to love and leave you on that note, ladies and gents. Back tomorrow with another full-length video, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening.